Hello, hello everybody. Lori here from Unique in the Creek. Tonight I'm going to be making a really cool flower wreath, and I'm really excited to make it. So come on in. Welcome to Unique in the Creek. So I designed this sign and vinyl. So it doesn't say the word of the movie on it, but if you are a fan, you will know exactly what this means. So the sign says, "Pink goes good with green." So it's got a bow with a witch hat and a bow with a crown. We got a wand and we got a broom. I am going to make a flower wreath, okay? Flower wreaths are my absolute favorite. I really love flower wreaths because you don't have to fuss around with ribbons and all kinds of clips and, you know, all kinds of stuff. I love flower wreaths. I like, they're nice, they're neat and tidy. There's no, you know, bows to make that, you know, squish. They're very easy to ship. They're very thin. They fit between two doors. I'm using the small board, which not many times I do. So what I've done on the small board, this idea I'm doing right now is perfect for, say if you want to make a football wreath or a baseball wreath or hockey wreath or something, and it's a house divided. This is a good idea to do that because I'm going to do this side of the board in green. So I am using poly burlap. This is a fresh green. The SKU is down in the description. And then this half, I am doing pink. Okay, pink poly burlap. Again, description down in the SKU in the description. So this is our small board, and you'll see there's only 4 rows or circumferences on the small board. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's the 2 holes in the middle. That's where we're gonna put our pipe cleaners to go down for our sign. You can use the large board. You just need more petals and you use more mesh. But it, of course, makes a much larger flower. So, small board, I am using row 2 on the small board. Row 2, and I'm using row 3. Okay, and we're going to be preloading the board closed, which means the zip tie is closed, the normal holes and the shared holes. Okay, so normal holes are the small right here, like close together. Okay, that's the normal. And then there's a bigger space right from here to here. We call those shared holes because we're going to be sharing the hole because there is a big hair there. Because there is a zip tie already there. So I just called it shared holes, okay? So what you're going to do is put your zip tie in. You're going to do it up. You're going to put the tail of the zip tie through the flat part of the zip tie head, and you'll hear a zip sound, and it'll lock, okay? Again, you're going to go down and back up, and this is the shared hole, okay? Still lots of room, even though we put up, there's zip ties currently in there, not a problem. But you're going to preload closed row 2 and row 3, okay? And these are 18-pound zip ties, and they're 6.3 inches long, okay? You don't need any more than 18-pound. Don't use a 40-pound. 40-pound is like really thick and it's got a big head and everything. You don't need a 40-pound, and they're way more expensive. 18-pound zip ties is all you need. We sell them. You can get the gray ones at uniqueinthecreek.com, both for Canada and the US. They're gray. and the gray ones match the board. I'm using the clear ones because I literally had them open. That's the only reason. Okay, so your board is loaded. You'll be able to see if you missed anything because each row will look like a row of stitching. So if there's a space where there's not a zip tie, that obviously needs a zip tie. It means you're missing. So when you're done, you should have row 2 and row 3 where it looks like stitching. Alrighty? So your board is loaded. Again, I am doing 1/2 of the flower pink, 1/2 green, because pink goes good with green. This is an amazing sign. So if you know, you know. Okay, so now the way I deciphered which side was going to go green, which side was pink, I looked at my sign, and pink is on this side with the green bow and witch hat. So I decided to use green on this side. And then you can see that the green is on this side with the pink bow and crown. So I decided to do pink on this side. Okay? Mesh, you're going to need, I'm using 20 pieces. So I'm going to need 12 pieces of green and 8 pieces of green on the one side, and then 12 pieces of pink and 8 pieces of pink on the other side. So what you need, you're going to cut your mesh. This is poly burlap. However, I'm not wood burning it because the pinwheel petal that we're doing, you do not see the edge. So you won't see all the fray and everything. I'm going to cut just with my rotary cutter. I am going to cut my mesh into a 10-inch square. So you're going to line up your mesh. So I'm just using the 10-inch here. Okay, and then you're going to line up your mesh along one of the lines on your cutting mat where the bottom seam is. So you want to square up your mesh, because the more square your mesh is, the nicer your petal will turn out. And then I'm just going to go right up the 20. Okay, so I put it on the 10 and I cut it at the 20, and we have a 10-inch square. All right, like I said, you need, if you're doing it on the small board like me, we're using 20 pink and 20 green. To make the petal, you are going to use your mesh curl up, which means when you rock it back and forth, that's curl up. We're going to turn it into a diamond shape with the factory edge on the top left, bottom right, just like that. You're going to take the top corner of your mesh and bring it down to the bottom corner. And poly burlap is really nice to make petals. It's a little more expensive, but it's very soft on your hands. You wouldn't want to use this on like a normal deco mesh wreath because, like I said, it is expensive, but it makes beautiful petals for flowers. All right, so I need to find the middle, and the easiest way for me to find the middle of my petal here is I just fold it in half and I make a little crease with my finger just up at the top, okay? So there is my center. Then I'm going to take the right, my tattoo is on my right hand. If you ever are following me along, you're going to take this right side, this top edge right here is going to go right down the center, just like that, of your mesh, okay? Just like that. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it over, and you can see your mesh, the line of your mesh right through it. We're going to take this edge and I'm going to line it up right along with the other side that I see there. Okay, and this is what you have. It looks like a kite. Okay, so both sides will be the exact same. So when you put your petal in, it doesn't really matter which way you put it in because both sides are exactly the same. Okay, then I put my tip of my petal on one of my lines, and then I pinch about 2 inches up. So I make about a 2-inch tail. And I'm going to rubber band these just with a clear rubber hair band that you can get from the dollar store. And that is our petal. So there is one side and there's the other side. Totally both the same. All right. And then I'm just going to trim this little bit of the tail off because the poly burlap does get really, really messy and fray because we didn't wood burn it. But as you can see, you don't need to wood burn it. You don't see any seams and you won't have any strings. Let's do it again. We'll do it in green. So again, 10-inch, curl up, diamond shape, factory edge, top left, bottom right, top corner to the bottom corner. Just fold it like that. Then I'm just going to fold it over so I can find the halfway. So I just make it a mark there, bringing this edge right straight down. So when I say do straight down, I'm going right along that crease I made right to the bottom corner there. Okay, and if you do it properly, your edge here will line up. Then I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take this edge and bring it straight down. Okay, there's our kite shape. And then I'm going to pinch it 2 inches up. So each petal will be the exact same size. Okay, and then you can rubber band it. And then we'll trim this off. And I watched Married at First Sight and made petals in my lap upstairs and threw them in my laundry basket. It's quite relaxing making petals while you're watching TV. I just have this little cutting mat that I put on my lap. And I bring my rubber bands upstairs and some scissors, and I just go to town making petals. Okay, 2 inches, there we go. This is called Fresh Green. I did put the SKUs below in the description. And I did bring mesh home for the character board one. I'm going to use, for the character board one, I'm going to use this beautiful laser foil. Very, very sparkly. So I have the green I brought home, so it's lime green, and then the hot pink. Look at that. So I'm going to do a wreath with a vinyl, maybe Sunday, we'll see, with these two. Laser foil, very pretty. Is loaded, locked and loaded. Oh, I'm going to put my cable mount on the back of my sign. I'm going to use automotive tape, that 3M automotive tape. So it'll have a few minutes to set before I have to use the sign. It does take 24 hours to cure, this automotive tape, but it sticks pretty good to metal. Just don't pull on it right away when you put it on. Don't pull on the cable mount and pipe cleaner, but it is a double-sided tape. All right, so this is an 8-inch sign. I just want to make sure I find the middle. So I'm going to put the edge on the 10 and then the 4 and the 4, and the middle is right about there. Okay, press really, really hard and give it a wiggle. You can, it's a good idea to scratch it up a little bit, the back of the metal, scratch it up a little bit. It'll give it something to grasp onto, but I find this automotive tape is pretty good. Like I said, don't yank on it for at least 24 hours. You can put it on your wreath, but if you need to tighten it more, wait till tomorrow, okay? So there we go. Our sign is ready to go. So pink, green. This is gonna go pretty fast. What you're gonna do is take your petal. Now the center ones, I wasn't sure because the center one is literally right in the middle, so I'm doing the top 2 center ones green and the bottom 2 center ones pink. All right, so we're just gonna put this in, and I'm going to put it in and do the zip tie up right over top of my rubber band, because I know that rubber band, the rubber band, what am I trying to say? The rubber band was 2 inches, okay? And then we're gonna do green. And then this is where everybody's been tucking them in. Now when I did the pinwheel all the time, I just automatically tucked it in. I didn't know it was an actual thing. But it looks pretty cool. You just lift this up and you're tucking in the corner into here. So we're going to go all the way around here with the green. All right, we're to the center. So we did green in the center up here, so I'm doing pink on the bottom. And you can see there's strings galore when you use poly burlap. Not enough strings for me to actually go through the trouble of wood burning, because the end result, you don't see any fray, because you won't see the bottom of the petal at all. But like I said at the beginning, if you rubber band them, then you know at the rubber band is 2 inches. So you don't have to really measure each petal, just make sure they're all the same length. If you zip tie it right over the rubber band, they will all be the same length. Or if you don't have rubber bands, you just pinch it at the 2 inches and put it right into the board as you're going along and making them. Last one, and that was easy. So don't be scared to write on your board. With a Sharpie marker. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's clip all the zip tie tails off, and we're going to the next row. This is a zip tie gun. I've had this for like over 5 years. I've never changed the wheel down there. This is great because it pulls, so there's a little slit here. So you just slide the zip tie tail into that slit, go right down to the head of the zip tie and squeeze. And it will tighten and cut for you. This one I've had, it's ancient, it is metal. And you can find this one under Lori's Tools on uniqueinthecreek.com. All right. Okay, we're going to continue. So this one is, the center one is green again. And again, I'm going in till my zip tie goes over top of the rubber band. One more green, so if you're just joining, I have to make another green. I guess I don't know how to count, so we're going to cut this at 10 inches. Make sure you square it up. Okay. Curl up, diamond shape, top corner to the bottom corner. I'm folding it over so I can find my center. I just make a little crease. This edge going straight down. Flip it over, you can see your mesh through. And again, both sides are exactly the same. Just like that. So we make it like a kite. And we're going to pinch 2 inches up. And if you don't have the little rubber bands, just cut it like that. And where my fingers are is the 2 inches. Put it in until the zip tie hits your fingers, and then do it up. All right, we're doing the pink now. We're almost done. So it's really an easy wreath to put together. Not all kinds of ribbon tails and everything. That's why I love it. And I just sit with my little cutting mat on my lap and make petals and watch stupid shows. Okay, we're done. We're gonna cut these tails off again, these zip tie tails. We're gonna put our sign on and we're done. Oh, we have to put a hanger and then we're done. Look how pretty. I love flower wreaths. I have to say it, even though I sell ribbons and all the doodads that go with wreathing, I just love flower wreaths. I love the simplicity, the clean looking, clean looking lines. So right at the top where the Unique in the Creek logo is, we're just going to put a zip tie. This is going to be our hanger. All right, so now you can hang it. And then the 2 holes, and if you write on the back of your board, you can, well, I'm just rubbing it off with my finger, but you can just rub off the Sharpie. And usually if it's been on there for a bit, rubbing alcohol takes the Sharpie marker off. Okay, let's put our sign on and see what we have. Woo! Okay, so like I said, green is on this side because the pink background is here, and then the word pink goes good. And then we have our green and our pink bow. So the green bow has a witch hat on it, and the pink bow has a crown. And this is an 8-inch sign. So I'm just pulling right down the center, so it's going to be centered right on my flower. Okay, give it a few twists, and we're gonna cut off the excess pipe cleaner. Bring it back down the holes so we have a nice, neat, professional looking back with no mess. There we go. That is the back. Ooh, there we go. That's the back. So we got the business on the back. Don't forget to put if you're selling your wreaths and stuff, tape your business card on the back, make some stickers where people can buy your wreaths from on the back. Because 9 times out of 10, their neighbor, their family member, their friend come over and then they want a wreath. So it's much easier for the customer to flip it over and say, oh, there's the person that made my wreath. Contact them there. All right, here we go. Business on the back, party on the front. Pink goes good with green. Like I said, if you have a big fan and you gave them this wreath, big fan of the movie, they will know exactly where this came from. I'm just going to go around, make sure all my petals are evenly spaced. Just give it a little tug at the top here. Jiggle them in. Get them into right space. And there we go. We're done. You could even do this in your lap. So the only thing you would have to do is cut your mesh at a table, and then everything else can be done in your lap, which is how the boards evolved into what they did. And I just loosely put it on. Now, if you want, you can, once you have your sign on, you can take your glue gun and just put it under your sign, give it a couple pumps at the top, the bottom, and the sides right underneath, and just hold it. That way it's glued onto the mesh, and it's also pipe cleanered on. Alrighty, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys for joining me, and I appreciate your support. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye, everybody.